It's finally happening. We are moving to Spain. Those of you who've been following my videos for, well, ever since I started this channel really in 2020, you will know that I've mentioned it, I've talked about it, I've put it out there. We have been in the process of manifesting, making this move. I wanted to create a video to document the fact that now it's actually happening. I've had some requests to vlog the whole experience as well. I will create a separate video that is a vlog video. But today I wanted to basically talk through what kind of manifestation techniques I use to support this bringing of a dream into a reality, and also answer some questions that people on Instagram asked me. Let's get into it. So the first question that I have here is, where in Spain are you moving to and why? So Spain has a very significant and special connection for both Jamie and me, as Spain is threaded through our whole love story and relationship. There have been many plans that I have made, many goals that I have set that haven't gone perfectly to my plan, but retrospectively when I look back, I'm so grateful that the universe was continuously guiding me in the best direction for me. I failed my interview at Cambridge. I didn't get the internship abroad that I wanted. So if I hadn't have failed my interview at Cambridge, gone to a university that wasn't on my original list, it ended up being the best experience ever, and I met my best friend at Leeds University. That also led me to the opportunity to have a year abroad. And my plan was to go to Madrid or Barcelona for an internship, and I failed all of those interviews and that all fell through. A lot of things didn't go to my plan, and that led me to end up going to a very small town on the southeast coast of Spain. It's on the Costa Blanca between Valencia and Alicante, and I'd never heard of it before, I'd never been there before, I had no particular desire to go there. But my university needed me to do something. So, you know, something was better than nothing. I was grateful for the opportunity nonetheless. I managed through some friends of friends to be able to get an internship to work at a international school there in this town. And I moved there almost exactly 10 years ago to the day. It was the beginning of September 2013, and it started off a very lonely period for me. I was living completely on my own. I didn't know anyone. With the language barrier, I was obviously trying to improve my Spanish, but anyone who has gone through the process of trying to learn a second language, when you're going through that phase when you can understand what's going on but you can't express yourself as quickly as you would like, it's really frustrating, and you want to be able to build relationships with people and show them how funny you are or quick-witted you are, but the words, you can't quite find the words to express yourself. So anyone who's been through that knows what I mean. Just trying to live and communicate with anyone was exhausting. I had a lot of time on my own, and I've mentioned before in videos that I've made about manifesting the best possible relationship for yourself, that often I've seen in other people's experiences and speaking from my own, that having a time in your life that is dedicated to you and you only, having the opportunity to spend some time in solitude, if you have the opportunity to live on your own for a while or do things on your own for a while, although it can bring up a lot of loneliness and the thoughts in your head can be very loud, it also is the most amazing gift that you can give yourself with regards to building a relationship with you. There is no one to distract you. There is no one to lean on. And so you end up leaning on yourself. You end up being there for yourself, supporting yourself, putting yourself first in a way that perhaps you'd never done before. That was my experience anyway. It felt like a very spiritual time in my life, probably because there was less noise, so I was able to notice more of the magic, more of the signs that were around me. I was contemplating a lot more. My whole life kind of felt like one long meditation because I wasn't really talking to anybody else. So that significant, special period of my life was in the town that we're going to be moving to in a few days, but 10 years ago. I also remember feeling drawn to this magnificently beautiful church in the port of this town. Not really having a history of going to church myself, but I just felt so drawn to this building and to the space and to the energy of it. It just felt beautiful to me. And I remember going there on my own the first week that I moved to the town. That church became very significant for me years later because it ended up being the church where I got married to my husband. I also met my husband in this town that we're going to be moving back to. After working at the school for a few months, they revealed to me that they didn't have enough money to pay me. So very quickly I needed to find some solutions. So I remember going up and down the beachfront to any restaurant, any bar, handing in my awfully written CV. My Spanish was still so poor that it was just filled with so many mistakes. So looking back, I was thinking, how would anyone have been even remotely interested in hiring me? But I did get a phone call from one of the bars who was looking for a photographer and saw that I had some photography work experience. That job is where I met Jamie because he worked at that bar at the time. So it's very interesting that so many things that didn't go to my small-minded plan led me to things that I am so grateful for, and I wouldn't have wanted life to have gone any other way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have met some of the most special people in my life, most significantly my husband. So my husband's parents and brother still live out there now. We have many friends out there, and prior to 2020, with it being a small town, it almost felt a little bit like if we wanted to pursue the careers that we wanted to pursue, we needed to be in London in order to do that. But I think as many people experienced after 2020, with how much the world changed and how much remote working became possible, it allowed us to look at this town again and go, hang on a second, if we can find a way to do what we do remotely, then there's no physical need for us to be doing it in London. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a Londoner born and raised. I love this city. It is one of the most incredible cities in the world, in my opinion. It's an amazing city to be a tourist in. It's an amazing city to visit, especially in the summer or around Christmas. Like anywhere in the world, there are pros and cons. The cost of living in London is very, very high. The weather is pretty wet and cold for most of the year. It's still an amazing place that's totally worth it. But we started to entertain the idea of living in a place where your money goes even further, where it's sunny 300 and something days per year, where there's more space, where there's more nature, where there's more fresh air, where you're right by the ocean. We have friends there, Jamie's family there. So those were some of the motives behind the move. Now, I've been dropping it into videos for the last few years that this is something that we want to do. Pictures on my vision board, I write about it in some scripting letters. I've created Pinterest boards with hundreds of photos of Spanish-style villas. The next question from Aisha is, how hard is it to let go of the place you've lived your entire life? It's a great question, and I think the way that we're handling it is we're not closing the door on London. It only takes 2 hours to fly from London to Spain, and so mentally I think we still feel that this isn't goodbye forever. I said to Jamie that I would love to move to Spain on the condition that we come back to London and visit family several times a year, you know, staying with my parents in London, staying with some of the family that he has in London. So the door is never closed. And I think that's really helpful for us to be able to process this move, knowing that when it comes to family birthdays or if we're just feeling a bit homesick, you know, it's always a relatively affordable flight away. We're not moving to the other side of the planet, which I think would be even harder, much harder for us to process. And I don't think we would do a move to the other side of the world. The hardest part for sure is processing the fact that my parents won't be in the same city as me, or that I won't be in the same city as them. You know, it's been very emotional. There's been lots of tears, there's been lots of conversations, lots of discussions, but we're focused on the benefits of, you know, what new experiences we can create together as a family. How instead of popping over for an afternoon, my parents can pop over for 2 weeks and stay with us and have a bonus sort of second holiday home in Spain. So we're looking as much as we can at the new experiences, the new memories to be made. And so when we're avoiding seeing it as a loss, and instead we're seeing it more as an evolution, as a new chapter for us all. I would also say that when we had conversations about moving to Spain a year ago, 2 years ago, we didn't feel ready. And so we decided, I think it was actually last summer, we said, this is our last summer in London, so let's really make the most of it. Let's tick off all the things we've always wanted to do in this amazing city. Let's spend loads of time with friends and family. So that was actually our focus and our intention for last summer. We ended up not being able to move to Spain straight after last summer because Spain hadn't created visas for British people. So after Brexit, it no longer became as easy for British people to just move to Europe and vice versa. And so a new visa had to be created, but it actually took several years for Spain to create the kind of visa that we needed. At the beginning of this year, I think it was spring, April this year, it was finally announced that the visas were available to apply for. And it's the kind of visa that we're going for is a digital nomad visa. There have been quite a few sort of complicated paperworky type days where we've been sorting all of this stuff out, but I'm just grateful, and I think it's completely fair enough. I wouldn't complain for a second about the process, because if we do want to move to another country, I think we should respect that country. We should respect their economy. We should respect their infrastructure and all the amazing things that we're going to benefit from by moving to that country. So I think it's absolutely more than fair enough that we have to apply and prove that we are good people without a criminal record, and that we have, you know, the financial stability to be able to live there. A question that I often get, you know, if I can sort of bring this back to manifestation, how do you detach from something that you want really badly? People say, I've heard that you need to set the intention and then completely forget about your desire, your dream and goal, but they struggle to do that. And I'm not surprised. I definitely haven't ever forgotten about the fact that we want to move to Spain, but never have I doubted that we will eventually move to Spain. There have been many times over the last few years where in that moment it was impossible to move to Spain in that moment, whether it was because of lockdowns or whether it was because the visa didn't even exist for us to apply for. Never once did that cause me to think, maybe it's not meant for us, or maybe it's never going to happen. I never doubted it. I just understood that the timing wasn't right yet. I just understood that it will unfold at some point in the future. When we talk about vibration, we talk about high vibration, low vibration, we talk about, are you focused on the lack? Are you approaching your goal from a place of desperation and frustration and fear and feeling like your life is incomplete until you have this missing piece that's going to solve everything for you? You know, if you're approaching your goals that way, your brain and your energy is massively focused on the lack of what you want. You are radiating lack. You are radiating a very strong energetic field that's filled with limits and feeling like it's not happening, like it can't happen, etc. If we're just looking at it from a neuroscientific point of view, our subconscious mind will show us things that agree with our most dominant thoughts. So if you feel like nothing ever works out for you, or that you're really unlucky, or that it's problem after problem, your subconscious mind is going to go, okay, and find you more and more and more evidence to back up your belief system. Whereas you could be in the exact same situation, but if you change your thoughts, if you shift your mindset, if you choose to look at the same situation in your life, but through a different lens, from a different perspective, where your general thoughts and mindset sound something like, it's always going to work out, something will work out in the end. It might not be ready now, but eventually the time will come where it is going to be possible for me. I'm looking forward to the day when it happens, but in the meantime, what can I enjoy about my life now? What can I make the most of now? Because I'm going to miss it one day when things change and when I'm living in my next chapter. How can I be as present and appreciative and grateful as possible for my life in this moment right now? Because one day it will be different and there will be new blessings, and I'll probably miss some things about this chapter in my life. Then your subconscious mind will look out into the external world and find you all the things that agree with that belief, with that thought pattern. You're going to spot opportunities, things that feel like magic, that feel like miracles, that feel like synchronicities, that feel like, whoa, super spooky coincidences, but it's actually all just because your subconscious mind is tuned to that. Your vibration is tuned to that frequency, your subconscious mind is tuned to that dialogue, to that thought process. Like, it's all kind of the same. A lot of things in life, especially if they're big important things, it's absolutely okay if they take some time to unfold, which I know is never the thing that people like to hear. They always want it now, instantly, fast, 24 hours, gimme it now. Let's be better than that. Let's not be instant gratification junkies. Let's rise above that and cultivate patience and cultivate trusting and cultivate enjoying every moment of the unfolding of our journey. Can you feel how different that feels from, I'm going to try this one night technique, and if it doesn't happen in the morning, I'm going to give up. I'm going to do this for 30 days and see how it changes, and if it doesn't, I'm going to give up. There's so many people who are giving up before they've even progressed one step on their amazing journey. Imagine if you were planting an acorn in the ground and you stare at it for a week and you water it and you give it sunlight and you haven't got an oak tree yet, and then you give up and then you walk off, you maybe try and plant a different plant in the ground and give it a week and give up on that one as well. Like, commit to the long haul. Embrace the fact that good, amazing things have a gestation period. You wouldn't want to give birth to your baby after a week. You'd want to give it 9 months to develop into the beautiful, healthy baby that you're seeking. It's about giving things the time that they need. So I think that's a big takeaway from this 3 year or more manifestation experience. Trust in the unfolding of your journey. Have patience. Understand that even if it doesn't seem possible for you right now, that doesn't mean it's not possible for you ever. That just means that right now, you get to enjoy where you are right now. You get to learn some new things. You get to experience some new experiences. Jamie and I wouldn't have been ready to move to Spain last year, even if the visa was available to us. In terms of Jamie's work, a year ago, he wasn't in a situation where he could work remotely. He's been working on developing himself into a position where he can do what he does remotely for the last couple of years. I myself have been able to work from home for quite a few years, but I'm in a stronger and healthier financial situation right now than I was a year ago. So we both feel a hell of a lot more prepared, ready. We tick all the boxes that we need to tick now. And a year ago or 2 years ago, we may have wanted it, but we weren't ready for it, and it wasn't ready for us. So sometimes that's hard to hear, sometimes that's hard to take, but if there's something that you really want right now and it doesn't feel available to you right now, ask yourself first of all, if it dropped into your lap and became available to you right this second, would you actually be ready to handle it? Would you be ready to receive it? Would you be ready to sustain it rather than not being able to handle it long term? If not, great, okay, there's some learning to do, there's some growing to do, there's some preparing to do, there's some improving, some developing of skills so that you will be able to handle and sustain whatever it is that you want. And even if you feel like, yes, Lucie, I am completely ready for it right now, great, fantastic. If it's not available to you this instant, then enjoy the ride. It surely will be in time. And if that takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, just know that when that moment comes, it's going to be so beautiful. And you'll look back and you'll appreciate the fact that, yeah, actually, all of the things that happened in the run up to this moment were perfect and necessary. And you'll look back and be grateful for all of it. Who knows, maybe the next video you will see on this channel, I will be in Spain. And I'm also going to be documenting this journey from London to Spain. And if you have any more questions, comment them below and I'll see if I can answer them on a future video. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being part of my manifestation. I am part of your manifestations. I'm supporting you and cheering you on every step of the way. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring my bell so that you never miss another video. Until next time, bye.